Hello, and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup podcast, episode 167. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. We got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
And you're tired.
Well, I am. I came back from camping, so I'm going to do my best.
I'm jealous. I've been hyperfixating on cards and the Switch 2, so I'm eager to talk about it. But first, we're going to start with what we always talk about. What we played this week. You did play some. You have not given up on Arena.
That's correct. I cheated and got the red deck, and the way I cheated, which isn't really much of a cheat, but it was a great idea when I realized it, is I used the gems that I had and I bought a few more, so I did spend some money, to buy the what are they called? The champion decks, the pre-made decks for standard that already won tournaments or something. I'm not entirely sure how they come up with those, but they're clearly somebody's deck.
Yeah, we talked about those too.
Yeah, and by buying those, because they're standard, because they're recent, because they're powerful and won tournaments, I got the stupid mice and all the cards that I was missing from the recent sets. Well, maybe not all, but a good chunk of them. So I bought like the red one that helped me get the mice deck just so I could climb the ladder and get my stupid points. Toilet games, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then I bought a color, like 3-color one that had the multicolor lands. And I was like, oh, this is going to be useful because it has, remember, these are champion decks that have the best lands. So they're really good ways to get like just the cards that you really kind of need for this. So anyways, point being, if you buy a couple of those, it's a pretty cheap way to get the best situation. I don't know how they come up with them or how often they refresh them. But at the very least, it gets you the land base, which is typically the most painful part to acquire, right?
Yeah.
Because you need 4 of every one of the different good land combos, and anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, started playing some mice. It is stupid.
Learn the terminology of toilet gaming. Linear gameplay with minimal decision points.
Yeah, it's basically it's like I'm half asleep, I'm taking a crap, right?
Yeah.
And I play a game, and play is in quotes, hard quotes, because you're not really doing anything that has consequence. You're just clicking buttons. Ugh, what a sad state of gaming.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's all you have energy for.
Yeah, that's fine. But still, I mean, that's not Magic then. Don't play Magic. Go play Hearthstone. Go play something that does that. There's a million games that do that. Magic shouldn't compete with them and lower the game's competency.
But it does.
It does now. It definitely does now. And it's sad. This is the stupid little mice trying to get the little kids in here and addicted. You're like, let's make the easiest deck win. Yeah, and it wins. It definitely wins. I've been playing a lot on the Explorer ladder, and it crushes everything. It's so stupid.
It's pretty good. It feels really good when you beat it, though.
Yeah, is that like what with another red deck? Is it even possible?
No, my green-white deck that I built beats it pretty well.
Okay.
Because they
are looking for a solution. There's no doubt the brewers are out there like red deck is now the menace. So they're coming up with ways to counter. It's only a matter of time.
They're like, there's that white 2/3 flyer that opponents can only play one spell a turn. That really hurts the red deck.
Yeah, and then the angels kind of what are they called? The angels.
And it having 3 health is key because the 2 damage removal that red plays
doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, there'll be some things, especially with Tarkir. I think that's going to change things. Although I just saw a Hall of Famer posted a red deck, mostly red. It's red blue, but really there's only like one little bit of blue in it. Red deck all dragon stuff, and it's gross and it's standard.
Nice.
So yeah, so we'll have a different type of red deck to fight soon. Yay!
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll be interested to see if you peek back into standard.
Why would I?
Because you have the cards for it.
But the problem, like, what's the value?
Just
in it?
The different format.
With standard is things rotate. Yeah. It's not. It's the same format. That's the thing. It's not. It's not a different format other than limiting what cards I could use.
Yeah.
That's lame. Why would I do that? It seems boring, especially since it's going to rotate in a few months, like always, and be a problem. That's what I don't like about standard is it rotates. So
I know. So but just to shake things up, different.
Yeah, and the worst part is the meta is like the same.
It is pretty close.
So it's like might as well just play Pioneer and get to play some weirder stuff every once in a while.
That's true.
like that Demir deck. That definitely doesn't work in standard. That thing was crazy.
No. There's a Demir deck in
There
standard.
is a
Yeah.
actually, you know what? It probably works better in
Yep,
standard because
it
there's
does.
not as much counter
Yep.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
What'd you play? Anything?
I played that a bunch of that green white deck. Actually, I'm pretty hooked on it. I only played my red deck to do the quests that specifically required red. All my other quests this week I did with the green white. It was
Oh,
super
and I
fun.
don't know how much we talked about this on here, but you're totally right about getting the money. I think I questioned the amount of money you could get, like the coins or whatever.
Yeah, I figured if we
You
talked
might
about that on or off the pod.
yeah, I don't remember, but basically I was like, no way, you can't get that much. But yeah, since I've been playing the red deck, you totally can.
Yes. Yeah.
It does require you to spend 2.5 hours on average a day.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so pretending this is not a thing that takes a lot of time is bullshit.
No, it does take. It does. No,
It
I
takes a
wasn't saying it
lot of
doesn't
time.
take a lot of time.
Two and a
I
half
don't think I
hours
said
on
that.
average. That's the to win your 15 a day or whatever. I think I
Yeah,
did
I
that.
don't do that. I don't do that.
Oh, you don't try to get that?
No, I just do the make sure all my quests are done.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other stuff I view as benefits. And there are some days where I'm just like I have the free time and I want to play Magic, so I get them
Yeah,
by wanting to play. But
sure.
I never feel the only thing I feel like I need to get done is the daily quests, which is not hard cuz like I'll let them stack up to 3 and then like in the morning before work I'll log on and just refresh it to try and get a 750 and then when they're up to 3 I'll spend an evening or wake up early and before work knock out because it takes like maybe a half hour to knock out the 3 quests.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. I haven't measured those ones yet.
Because I wake up pretty early before work anyways, so I'll either pack orders and on days that I'm light on orders to pack, then I'll just play a couple games of Arena.
Yep.
But speaking of Dragonstorm, you opened a single
I
pack.
did. Yeah, it was a single pack. So I got my play box early, which is sweet. And I what did I do? I cracked it open. I took 12 packs, 6 packs, 12
12
packs,
packs.
12 packs because it's 6 per. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I took 2 games of us doing Winston
Mm-hmm.
and put them to the side because like that's why I got this box was
Yeah.
for draft. And then I picked up the next pack in the thing, and there's a reason for this. So it's about middle of the box, right? Because
Yeah.
that's about what that amount is. And I popped it open, and I got the Mox Jasper, and I got the turtle, the blue turtle that's like a turtle tribal one, which are 2 of the cards I really wanted out of this set. And I was like, guess I'm done.
The
Don't need
Ambling
to open
Storm
anymore.
Shell.
Yeah, Ambling Storm Shell. I just like that turtle because
Yeah.
it's a
Oh, he's so
definitely
cool.
a turtle thing. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's just like the first pack I opened, total victory there. Now the price of that card has come down. As of opening it, it was I think $56, which was like
Mm-hmm.
half a box. Now it's like 20 something.
Yeah.
So um, still good. And I
Mm-hmm.
did not stop there. I have opened more packs because I like opening packs.
Yeah.
I haven't got much else that's been very exciting. Speaking of packs, I have
Mm-hmm.
a hard decision
I
coming up
know.
here.
You do. You got that collector box coming.
This collector box is coming, which I only paid $155 for because I had points I could use towards that. So it's cheap. Collector box prices are going up to around $350, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to open a collector's box. I definitely don't want to pay $350 for
Well,
one.
then that's the one you're opening.
But it's now $350. That's over. Like I've doubled my money already, Tommy.
Correct.
I don't want to open things if I've doubled my money. That's not how this works.
Then sell it and buy the singles you want from it.
That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Are the singles you
Open
want
it.
from it worth more than $350 minus fees and shipping?
Probably not, but the thing I also want is opening collector's boxes because they're really fun to open usually, and I
Right.
like to have a sense of like which ones were good, which ones are bad.
So then this is your chance to do that because I know you're not going to pay $350 to open one, and I don't think they're
Exactly.
going to be cheaper than $350.
No,
They may
I
come
don't
down
think
to
so.
like $300 again, but
20, yeah. Tommy, this is a very difficult situation to be in. I
that's
don't
why
like it.
that's why I order a case, and so it's just like I'm definitely not opening the case. So
Why ever not, sir?
because it's for the shelf.
Yeah, you don't open any of them.
No, I don't.
You
It's for the shelf.
don't even need paper Magic.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you don't really play Magic. You don't play anything in paper anymore, do you?
I don't. Not right now. Not with the current life situation. The plan is to get back to the LGS, and Pioneer is on Thursdays. So once my life becomes, I have more free time,
Mhm.
and there's less stuff going on. I'm planning on going. I either Pioneer on Thursdays or the occasional draft on Fridays. Because I don't know. Every Friday, like I got other friends and stuff that I want to hang out and see. So Fridays are a hard day, but Thursday nights for Pioneer sounds fun.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with the drafting too, because that's how you end up with a ton of just garbage. You know.
Well, I also have a TCG player store I can just sell them on.
I guess that's true. Yeah, but it's gonna be garbage. Like it's gonna be penny cards. You
Sure,
know. I
sure.
don't know how much of a headache
I
that
mean,
is
I'm
for
opening
you.
play
I
packs,
didn't like it. You
so
are actually opening play packs for your shop?
no for draft. Like if I went and drafted, I'm opening play packs. So there will be the occasional night where I open some $20 card or whatever.
Yeah. It's just then you end up with all that bulk. That's what I'm saying. Like
John,
you are trying to reduce the amount of bulk in your life, which is what it sounded like you were trying to
it
do.
is, and
It
I'm
won't
making
help if you go
progress.
draft.
That's true.
Not if you start drafting. That was my point. That was
Well,
my whole
that's why
point.
I said a couple times a month, not
You're
every
like,
week.
maybe. Yeah.
Not every week.
Fair enough.
Because there
Uh,
are over 36,000 cards in my inventory, and I'm not done.
that's insane, man. I know mine was up there at one point, but like it's just insane to manage all that.
Yeah. One little tidbit I didn't think to bring up on the pod, but was gonna bring up. Flesh and Blood, just random comments. Just because I have like all of them, the amount of sales I get of like $5 sales of just like here's 15
Oh,
comments for
yes.
25 cents.
Yep. Yep. I think
It's
I was talking
pretty
about how
great.
that happened a lot. Yeah. I personally hate those, but yes, they are. It is a good way to get rid of cards. I'll give
Yeah,
it that.
and mine were all sorted and organized, so it's really just uploading them.
Yeah, I just hated the big orders, like pulling them all, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
I just you have $5 order that's like 20 cards. Always annoying. Like
Well,
packing that
sure,
up.
sure.
I'm just like, it's fine. Like it's great that I get to sell a bunch of cards simultaneously. You know, like it is good. That's why I do it, but I try to keep it so that it doesn't happen too often.
I much
Um,
prefer the fab ones like that because it's usually like they have two or three of a card, opposed to like it's a commander deck because they ordered 15 cards from 10 different sets and all one ofs, and those are the ones that I find painful.
yeah, that's fair.
Because yeah, it's like 20 cards for fab, but it's only X amount of spots, and sometimes it's the same card but two colors, and so. And then the biggest pain about uploading that was unlimited versus limited or first edition
I
for
will
early sets.
agree that change was really great for shops, and I always complained about it before, but I did notice as I was working more towards the more recent sets, I was like, oh, this is less of a pain in the
Yeah.
ass than
Oh,
it
it's
used
way
to be.
less. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It's kind of crazy.
And the only sets you really have to worry about it for are Tales of Aria and Monarch because you don't have a bunch of first edition uh, crew,
I do.
first edition arc, first edition WTR.
I do.
I
I
don't.
do.
I don't.
Or I did. So I did have to go through that headache.
Yeah.
Oh my God, speaking of exactly that kind of situation, I almost sold the special edition Channel Lake Frigid as just a foil.
Oh snap!
I caught it as I was putting it in the envelope. I was like, wait a second, that's the fox. I was like, wait a second. I was like, what did it sell for? And I looked back, I was like, oh shit, I had it listed wrong. I was very
Whoops.
like, yeah, and I messaged the person. I'm like, I'm really sorry about this. I had the wrong one listed.
Yeah.
I cannot sell this to you for
Yeah.
that price
Yeah.
because it's like 250 versus like 80 or
Yeah.
something like
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Whatever it was,
Yeah.
is like a big difference. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I know that sucks a lot,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. What else we got? Anything else on the? Oh, you wanted to talk about the play prices?
Yeah, so play boosters are averaging $124, averaging 376 a day on TCG Player. But that does include the TCG Player sale, which sold 7,026 boxes. So outside of that day, it's averaging 150 at 124. And these are the 30 pack boxes. This is what we were talking about, John. So like a
Hmm.
good set is not going to be a $100 box.
No, I agree. I agree. They'll burst over for the good sets, at least for a period. We need to get post release,
Yeah.
like to get a
Yeah.
real sense. But I think we're seeing the data show what it's
Like
showing.
that's
This is hot.
strong
It's
volume.
hot.
Yeah.
Dragons are hot right now, guys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah.
Um, but yeah, I thought they were impressive numbers for sure. And the collector
Yes.
boxes are averaging selling 70 a day, and they did not have that sale. Um, and they're up at 350.
I'm super sad about that because I really would have opened a few, but I guess that's the problem is everyone felt the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I like my dragons.
yeah,
It's like dinosaurs, but they fly.
exactly.
Who doesn't like dinosaurs? Monsters, that's who.
But
All right.
I have been taking a look at just play boosters and collector boosters in general. So I wanted to talk about some interesting findings I had in that. If you've been looking to pick up some Modern Horizons 3 play booster boxes, they went from 240 down to about 200, and they've been
Mhm.
staying there, which I find really interesting because a lot of online stores and stuff haven't discounted them. And the only thing that I can think of is there's been Woot, which is an Amazon like warehouse get rid of stuff company,
Mhm.
has multiple times now had MH3 play boxes on sale for like $70.
Oh, wow. Wow. Really?
Yeah. It was order limit 3, but like those are
Ew,
clearly making.
$70.
Mhm.
Wow. So Amazon dumps are still happening. They just do it under Woot.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. The 3 that they've been focusing heavily on are MH3 play boxes, which they sometimes go on sale for 70, they sometimes go on sale for 210, I think.
That's
Um,
weird. That's
but
a
yeah,
very weird
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Okay.
It is very weird. Then they have Dominaria United remastered or Dominaria remastered collector boxes for 220, and then Outlaws of Thunder Junction for 150 play boxes for 115. I think is like the 3 common ones that keep popping up over
Hmm.
there.
Speaking of, I still have your OTJ case. I have
I
no
know
idea when I'm going to have time to get over there.
it's okay. Whenever next time, it's fine. It's fine. I just had my second Tarkir play box case arrive today. I picked up 2. Uh, Game Nerd still has them for 600 a case. Um, and then they have, if you don't want a full case, they have discount the more you buy on single boxes, starting at 110, I think, or like 109 and change, and then they get cheaper with however many you buy.
Hmm.
And then they don't charge sales tax outside of the state,
This. Oh. Oh.
and free shipping over $75. So pretty good deal.
Yeah, that is a pretty good deal.
So if you are looking for Tarkir, there are still deals out there. You don't have to look at TCG Player. But I just find it. That's why I find it even more fascinating that it's like still hanging out there at 124.
I mean,
Um,
the play boxes have got to stick around for a while.
oh yeah, for sure.
So I expect that to come down, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
Now, how long it stays down and,
And does it go
all the
further below
details, yeah,
100? Yeah,
probably not.
yeah,
Because of how popular this is, I could see it sticking at the 110, 115 only and
yeah,
not hitting that kind of sub 100 period.
yeah. Because Aether Drift
But
has.
yeah, exactly. But Aether Drift is less popular,
Yes.
and two, I think they've kind of gotten better at the amounts even for play boxes, right?
I
Because
think they are.
Bloomberg ran
Yeah,
out, like they're
foundations.
definitely managing the supply much tighter than they have been historically. So
Yeah, because Aether Drift and Innistrad Remastered, are both at all-time lows. Which I know we were talking about the possibility of there being short printed play boxes for Innistrad, which I do think
Yeah,
they printed less than the standard
probably.
sets.
Almost
But
certainly, in my opinion.
yeah, but there's just I think the demand for it is just less.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
Um, and then yeah, Foundations and Bloomburrow are getting harder to find, but there's a reprint on the way. So
Yeah.
end of April, early May is when I'm hearing that will start to hit stores. So hold up on that. But one thing I haven't heard about a reprinting of OTJ play boxes. I know there's the Woot sales that's been going on, but on TCG Player it's risen to 135.
I feel they will reprint that one. I could be
I'm
wrong.
sure they
But
will. I think it's
why
just
would they?
people are understanding the value in it now. Like yes, even though they are a lot of the just because the three different sets are all in the play boxes, the big score, the regular set, and the news, breaking news.
Hmm. You think they're gonna have to reprint that one?
No, I'm just curious with it going up. Do
Oh
they?
yeah, I don't think they're gonna reprint
Yeah,
it. I could be wrong, but it just feels like that one just didn't have the same sort of like Aether Drift. I don't think they'll reprint that one either.
right. I'm
Doesn't
saying I'm seeing
and
signs of it drying up. Like
I guess the
even the
question is
online store.
how hard they want to hold on to product.
Right, right.
Because if they want it over the full, was it 3 year cycle now?
Yeah.
Then they'll definitely reprint. But I have a feeling they don't give a shit about it after the first year. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I'm like, is OTJ going to get a reprint? We're now approaching a year, right?
Over a year. Good like Foundations and Bloomburrow haven't been a year.
Yeah.
And they're
So
already in reprint. Unless we got the
yeah,
reprint from OTJ and we just
were
didn't know.
popular.
Yeah.
Those ones were popular. That's the difference. That's why those ones were like sold off the shelves.
Yeah.
OTJ did not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure they'll get the reprint as long as it lasts. That first chunk lasts to a certain point.
True.
But again, if they wanted to stay available for the full 3 year cycle that it's in standard, like doing the whole standard support thing,
They may need to.
then yeah, then there would be probably. So
Yeah.
I guess it depends. We'll see how this plays out because this is Foundations is when they announced the first part, like the 3 year thing and all that, right? So we don't really know since then.
Right.
Is
It
that
was the
correct?
second play box.
Exactly. So that's why it's like we haven't seen this full cycle on what they're
No.
doing with standard
No.
and the supplies that they're going to keep on the shelf or not.
No. I've been finding it really fascinating that with the collector uh box print run decreasing and just how they're handling these play boxes versus the draft and set is something new.
Mhm.
But speaking of collectors, as law, just like the play boxes, Aether Drift and Innistrad Remastered are at all-time lows as well.
I saw that.
Yeah,
180 or 75 for the Aether Drift.
yeah, yeah,
And this is your canary in the coal mine. In the future, keep an eye out for low collector boxes, and that might tell you something about the things that will be in supply for a while.
yeah. No, for sure. I think
The
just
Innistrad does not surprise me. I know we talked about this before,
yeah,
but that set was just the least interesting, and I like remastered sets typically. That was the least interesting of the last few years
yeah.
for me.
I don't know.
They
I
shouldn't have
like it.
done. They shouldn't
I
have done the
like it.
black and white cards. That was the problem. It reminded everyone of that bad set, that bad combined set.
Yeah, the what
Yeah,
was it?
it was a special feature.
Yeah,
It was basically just black coated, same art.
black and
Everything
white.
was the
Yeah,
same. It was so bad. It was such a lazy product. It was so bad. Anyway, sorry.
it's okay. But there are some other collector boxes that are starting to move, like the Brothers War, March of Machine, and Battle for Baldur's Gate are all pushing 300 now, and we're in the sub 250s towards the beginning of the month.
Yeah. Brothers War is relatively boring. March of the Machine is one of my favorites. It's up there. Baldur's Gate was fun for the dragons,
Hmm. And I think the
which makes
dragons are what is
I
pushing
was
it.
driving it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's probably a big factor. But after I don't know, I opened so much of that. I have a bad. Like I have a bias because I opened a lot of it specifically for the shop at the time. It was inverted EV, and I was making it made money. Like it was a good move. It was just you get bored. You open the same product so long, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is
Yeah.
like really boring. The hits are these 5 or 10 cards at the time. It was just certain dragons, right?
Yeah.
And
And
then
the lands.
yeah, and then like everything else is literally just kind of junk you have to deal with. So you get this like negative bias. It was a good set. Like it had its moments, but yeah, like Brothers War is kind of low on my list. It's kind of boring. March of the Machine is awesome. That's one of my favorite ones. Thunder Junction I didn't actually enjoy, if I
Yeah.
recall.
So that one is interesting because it's kind of doing uh is availability drying up on that or no? Because that's been around 200 for a long time, um, like that 199, and
Hmm.
then recently jumped up to 220 for a little bit, and now is back down to 200. So I think there is still stock of it, which I find fascinating with how good of cards are in that set.
I think it was a very unpopular set
Yeah.
overall, probably thematically mostly. Um, And then there's probably a factor like you have a perspective, but it's limited. You're thinking from standard
Yeah.
standpoint, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like how many card sales are driven by that compared to how many are driven by EDH and other things?
Well,
And then
yeah.
how good is OTJ for EDH? And from what I gather, there's only a like 5 to 10 cards that are EDH heavy cards, like the Bill Bill, the guy that doubles everything,
Yeah.
the green cactus dude, and there's just a few. There's not a whole lot come to mind.
Yeah. I mean, EDH is still the most played format.
Well, it sells.
Yeah.
It drives the most single sales,
Yeah.
and you know that because you don't get 4 of purchases very often.
No, not very often at all. But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
just some interesting observations I've been looking at the past couple weeks.
Yeah. So far, no economic turmoil has hit Magic, which
No.
makes sense. Like it wouldn't yet.
Yeah. And it hasn't hit Pokemon either.
Yeah.
Enhanced booster boxes and the regular ones, which it's the same thing, um, are selling together over 100 a day. But there's over 2,000 listed, which is a healthy supply. But the price isn't coming down close to MSRP, which I find fascinating. Like it's continuing to sell well at this 220.
Welcome to the future.
But MSRP is 160.
I know. I'm just saying, is
Yeah,
that
I
like
know.
that's where they're at? It feels like that's is engineered. We've talked about this again and again, but it's like they want this. Otherwise,
Yeah,
they would have
yeah.
done something about it by now, and they haven't.
But stores could
Like,
also list it for lower and still make a healthy profit. They don't want to let it go.
who would do that?
Right.
If you that is not how stores operate.
No, I know.
Selling stuff less than you need to. Yeah,
No, I'm
most
not saying
stores.
they should. That's the point I'm trying to make is that it is moving at this new price.
Yeah, and it will continue to do so. The whippings will continue until morale improves. Enjoy
Basically.
your new price. Uh,
Basically. And
yeah,
speaking of
they'll get it. They'll do something about it eventually.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of new price, Switch 2, they had their big reveal day and announced the price and when people could pre-order and you could sign up for to be notified when pre-orders go live, which I did. And then now they're delaying. Then the tariffs happened, and now they're delaying that pre-order date. And I'm betting that the price is not going to be the same price.
No, of course not. They're not dumb.
No.
They know tariffs are costs they have to pass on to the consumer, i.e., are a tax.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are.
Yeah. So the original pricing that they came out with, which I don't think will hold, is I think it was like 450 or 455 for just the Switch 2, and then 500, 499 or whatever for the Switch 2 plus a digital version of the new Mario Kart game, Mario Kart World. And but it, I think it's like $80 digitally, or $90 physical.
Mm.
which so
Now,
they're
why
jumping
are
the
you
game
so
price up.
into this? Why are we even talking about this? What's going on here?
There's a
Why
new
is
Pokemon game coming out.
okay? Bring it back
Uh,
together.
in the
When is that release?
that releases later this year,
Okay. So when does the Switch release?
June.
Okay. And why do you want the Switch 2 on release?
Uh, I don't necessarily want it on release, but if why wouldn't you want the Switch on release if you're gonna get it?
I don't play the Switch. I
I
got
know.
the first one during the pandemic, and I played what was the little raccoons? Uh,
Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing. I played the hell out of that game during the pandemic,
Yes.
but then didn't really play it after. I tried a few times, but never really got. I don't really like the form factor. It's like if I'm gonna play a video game, I want to be on my big screen. You know.
That's fair. Um, I've been playing my Switch again since they had the announcement. Um, Julian and I have been playing the It Takes Two game on the Switch, which has been really fun.
Mm.
And then I downloaded the new Pokemon DLC for Scarlet and Violet because I beat the original game, but then the DLC is like kind of perfect for someone coming back and hasn't played it in a long time because it's basically just, hey, here, go to this other island. You're going to be an exchange student and go to this other school, and nothing else matters from what you did
Maybe
before
I
besides
should.
your Pokemon.
Maybe I should try Pokemon on the Switch. I don't think I ever did that. Did
It
I?
is really fun.
I
I
don't
think
know.
you
I
got
also
it.
remember the last time I tried to try a Pokemon game, I was like, yeah, this sucks.
You have to get
I know
past.
I'm wrong. Like the market disagrees with me
Yeah,
completely, but I've never enjoyed the Pokemon games. I don't
they
think I've
I
ever.
find them fun, but I've also played them since the beginning.
Yeah, for you, it's like a nostalgia thing. It's
Yeah.
like it was targeting you, but for
Yes.
me, it
Yeah.
just I never got it. I was never one of those.
Yeah. I don't know, but the Switch 2, like just the hardware, and it looks like a big improvement. Like it's not just a, oh, this is the next one. It's, oh, this is, they learned from the first one and made a bunch of really good improvements.
Mm,
So 1080p screen opposed to 720, can actually output to 4K on a TV. Um, 256 gig storage opposed to 32.
that's
But
big
has an
difference.
SD slot, micro SD slot to add additional storage.
Mm,
Um, the controllers are magnetic and they actually hold better. It feels, from what people have been saying, it feels like a much more higher quality piece of tech.
mm.
So
Now, did they ever make a open world Pokemon like that one game that was like clearly a Pokemon ripoff game with guns?
yeah, they've made open world, and that's what the new one that coming out is pretty interesting in that it's real time battles. So like your person is there around, and it's happening around you, and it's
So
less
they ripped off the game that ripped them off. That basically, what was that game? What was that game
Pal
called? Do
World.
you remember? Power World. That's right. That was fun. That
This
was
is,
enjoyable.
it's in a city, but there are a lot of Pal World things
They
in
they
it for
finally
sure.
they ripped off the game that
Yeah,
ripped off them and made the game they should have made 20
and
years
there's no
ago because
guns.
everyone's wanted it. Well, yeah, obviously the gun part was like the tongue in cheek of it all, but man, that was fun. Like I if Pokemon was that, I probably would have enjoyed it in the past. So you're saying the future ones are going to be like that?
Yeah, the new one looks really good. It
That's
is a
good.
Legends EA, so it's not like every. It seems like every other game they come out with is, um, like not a traditional Pokemon game. They try something new. Um,
Okay.
so and then so every other game is a traditional one where it's more just the standard game that actually has a competitive circuit and stuff. But
Yeah, got it.
the other ones are just, and the more traditional ones are more multiplayer, play against your friends, and you can do that kind of stuff, where these are more, tend to be more single player story kind of games. But like Legend Z Arceus was the last one, which was super fun. Yeah, they try new things. They're not all the same for sure, but I don't know. I think that it'll be interesting to watch with just how the economy is going. But this Pokemon bull market's about to get some more wood on the flames for sure. I don't see it coming down, especially with the new set, the game. It doesn't have a release date. It's just later 2025. So I'm guessing usually like September, October they come out. August,
Gotcha.
September. But yeah,
I will not be buying it. Tariff or no.
no, we'll see.
If it goes up like 25%, will you buy it?
What?
The price of the Switch? Like if it jumps 25% price. What is it? How much does it cost? How much were they
I
selling
was
it for?
gonna get the $500 bundle with Mario Kart because I was gonna get Mario Kart anyway, and it's just cheaper to buy it that way.
So would you still buy it if it was $600?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good.
No, I know.
Presumably, it's a 25% jump. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll
I
find
would
out
just
for-
allocate that month's card budget to that and then move on.
Got it.
I don't know. I get a lot of enjoyment out of those games. And have been enjoying some just I don't know. It's been nice playing just on the couch. After being at the computer all day for work. But
Gotcha.
I don't know. We'll see. And we're gonna be traveling more. So something on the road.
Yeah. I tried that once and I found that it was so bulky it wasn't worth the space it took up
Yeah.
to keep it with me. But I can see someone that's like in the middle of a game. Like if I got really into a game, I would want to bring it with me.
Yeah.
I never got into anything but Animal Crossing really. I tried a bunch of other ones. One of them didn't work right, like it was buggy, which I thought never happened on Nintendo. That surprised me. And then I tried the Zelda game, Link game, whatever.
Yeah, that's fun. That
It
did
was
not
pretty
run.
fun,
That
but
might be
it
the
didn't.
buggy one. It didn't run very well.
No, it didn't. It
and
wasn't
that's the
that
other
one.
thing people are mad about. They're coming out with enhanced versions for the Switch 2 that run way better of
Because
both
there's
the
actually some
Zelda and
hardware
the
to
second
run.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But they're charging $30 to upgrade them
God.
if you
It
own the
feels
previous
like a
one.
money grab from Nintendo these days. It's a little crazy.
Nintendo has always had a premium in price. That's
A
nothing
premium,
new.
but not a money grab. It was
No,
always the
no.
thing you could never get cheap, right? Because they
Right.
always were protective. And that was the thing. It was always, in my mind, acceptable because you knew you got quality. And when I
Yeah.
got buggy games, I was like, holy fuck, I have to pay the full price and they aren't actually checking to make sure these things run.
Yeah.
Like that annoyed me. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
actually killed a lot of my enthusiasm for playing the Switch.
That seal of approval Nintendo sticker has definitely lost value over the years.
Yeah.
But
Surprising.
just I don't know. I watched the announcement and they showed off the hardware and they showed off Mario Kart, which has an open world now, so you and your friends can just drive around an open world, which sounds super fun. And then the new Donkey Kong game, which my brother and I played every Donkey Kong growing up. And the new one it started off and it was like, here's a new Donkey Kong game. And then he just like dug to the center of the earth a giant hole. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is Tommy the Digging Donkey Kong game. And I was like, so that is also a main drive for the Switch 2 for me is that Donkey Kong game.
Gotcha.
But
It's logged into my Nintendo account. I can't even tell what games I own. I can't figure out where it is.
Yeah. I think you did get either Scarlet or Violet, but I don't remember. Or maybe you got one of the Sword or Shield. Maybe it was back then.
That's what I was trying to find out if I have it, but I don't.
Both are good. I like both of them.
Maybe I'll pick it up and give it another try.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I figured that could lead us into our economic world.
Wow, we're already there. That's so fast.
We made it.
So yeah, things went poorly this week. Right after the pod, I found a stat that said 6.1 million Americans are behind on mortgages, highest in 20 years. So that's a bad sign. We talk about those kind of leading indicators. That's one of them. And then the jobs data came out, I believe it was Friday or Thursday, and it had some pretty not great things. Now, again, like we have had recently, it wasn't like huge spike in unemployment, which would be the really bad thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was job openings and availability had dropped significantly, and there was an unexpected level of jobs added, which were smaller than expected. So basically, two bad signs, but not the big red flags when it comes to job stuff. We haven't seen the firings yet. Interesting questions going around economic groups. And this is like, nerds like me that like it and, pay attention to it, but aren't necessarily professionals in the, economics PhDs level, right?
Mhm.
um, what exactly is measured for jobless claims for that sort of measurement, right? When it comes to things like government firings, because
Yeah.
most of the firings come with a severance. There's some that are this RIF reduction in force thing. There's some that are the was it the thing that Musk did where like you send a letter in saying you're quitting but you're not quitting.
Yeah.
So all those people that quit in that very first wave, they will not be out of the job until September, remember?
Right.
So even though they are unemployed now, like because they're not working, but they're getting paid until September.
Right.
So they're not technically unemployed, so they're not going to show up in this data. And well, yeah. So
True. True.
it's one of those things where like this data may show up way late compared to like what's actually happening in the economy.
But they're still
So
getting paid.
they are, but they know they're out of the job, so they're not spending, which is where the economic, you see what
Ah.
I mean?
Yep.
Because they know they're like, everyone's going to hustle
Yeah.
to
That makes
like
sense.
maintain their cash balance. They're not going to spend it on luxury cardboard. That's for damn sure.
No, I have noticed it maybe just. I mean, it's a very small sample size of my TCG player store, but I have noticed since Friday I've had a significantly less orders.
Huh, I wonder if that's actually scared spook people. So that goes on to Liberation Day.
Hey,
That was Trump's
one
name
thing
for
before we
Tariff
get
Day.
too
Go ahead.
one thing
Yeah,
before we get too far away from the mortgages thing, since that's a little
yeah, yeah.
expertise of mine. One big thing to take advantage of in this opportunity is if you are one of those people that is not has bought a house in the last through 2 years, and are not behind on your mortgage, obviously, because you need some money. But if you have some money to refinance, think about refinancing because rates are coming down. We've had two of the best rate drop days in many years.
What
So
are they at these days?
it all depends on what kind of loan. But
Well, of course. Do you know what the like core rate is? Is like 4.25 or something now? It
I
hasn't
don't
hit the
think
threes
it's
yet.
no.
Whatever.
I don't know.
People can look it
I
up.
don't know. Google it.
Tommy, you're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to be the expert.
I
That's
was
why
just
people come to
told
us.
they were the best
I know.
days. I don't know what they actually
All
are.
right, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. All right, on to Liberation Day. So this is Trump's day of tariffs, which liberates all of our money from our 401ks, because that's exactly what happened. He put blanket tariffs, blind blanket tariffs, all over the world on our allies. Not so much on our enemies, oddly. North Korea escaped, Russia escaped it. Apparently, penguins on a single island on Antarctica that have no humans on it.
I heard about this.
Well, tariffs, they have a tariff on them now, which is crazy. You don't mess with the penguins; they arm themselves. So just be careful,
Mm-hmm.
penguin time. Um, and then on a bunch of others. So it was, I think it was like 180 countries got tariffs on them. It's insane. First off, the last time we had blanket tariffs, and this is the difference. I know social media is like, oh, but Biden had tariffs and Pelosi supported it back in 100 years ago, and Bernie Sanders said it too. And it's like, yeah, first off, don't go back 100 years because different times, different
Mm-hmm.
situations, different policy
No
requirements.
longer relevant.
Two, yeah, two, and more importantly, absolutely more importantly, none of them. 0% of every other like whataboutism you want to throw at it supported blanket tariffs. When you do tariffs on everyone or everything, it causes trade chaos. It is
Yeah.
not beneficial. It will not help with your policies or trade agreements, whatever else you're trying to do. It will just make you everyone's enemy. Everyone did unite around it. They united against us. And so as a result, these blanket tariffs, the only other time we've ever seen this was way back in the Great Depression. And it's largely blamed for the reason we had an extended depression during the Great Depression. I forget, it was like the Harley Taft Act or something like that is what it was called. Look it up. It was the last time we had blanket tariffs, and it was a terrible idea. It increased the length of the Great Depression. So hopefully we don't get a Great Depression out of this one. But yeah, it's ugly. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Everyone knows it's dumb, and anyone defending it is basically uninformed about how tariffs work, or just on the on the crazy train because it's nuts. Like there's tariffs on these countries we don't have any trade with.
Yeah.
I forget, there's this Malaysian island country, like a little tiny one, and I think they got a shipment of fish. So because the way they did this, oh, that was the other thing. The calculation on this was done by ChatGPT. People are 90% sure. So that's awesome. And two, was done incorrectly. They say that these are counter tariffs to our tariffs,
Yeah.
but they did it based on the trade deficit, which is not a tariff. That
No.
those numbers don't tie directly. Like that's not how that works at all. And as a result, this one tiny little country that had a shipment of fish, one shipment of fish, got like a 20% tariff because they got a shipment of fish, and that created a technical trade deficit. And these guys are so dumb that they just did this in such a blanket way without thinking about anything. So that little country has a giant trade tariff with us because they got
Wonderful.
one order of fish.
Yeah. I died a little bit when in our group chat someone posted Trump with the reciprocal tariffs, and he just said me with all my matchup win rate data deciding what deck to play just to go 0-2 drop.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Other than that, everything's fine.
Other than that, everything's fine.
It's pretty bad. We'll see the implications and impacts. We saw it in the stock market right away. So I think we're now in
So here I have a
bear
question.
market territory
Yeah.
because we talked about this before. 10% down on S&P and Nasdaq, etc., is correction territory. We're now approaching bear territory, bear market territory, which is 20%. And if the full 20% happens in a very short period, call it like under a week or so, it's considered a crash.
Mm-hmm.
We've not had a crash, but we're definitely in approaching bear territory because it was 10% down when this happened, and then we got another like 2 or 3 days of like 4% further down. So yeah,
So
it's no good. Anyways, you have a question.
yeah, and then I lost it.
No, sorry.
Dang it. Um. So yeah, is there a chance that it's like, oh shit, this is bad. Let's just not do this, and then all these are rescinded like next week?
Totally, because this administration has no plan, and they're clearly just reacting to what's said on Fox News or whatever the hell they're doing. It's very clear they bounce around all
Right.
over
So
the
this
place.
could just be short term.
Yeah, the Canadian one was short term,
Yeah,
back,
exactly.
gone, back.
That's
Like,
I feel like a pinball, and I'm just
yeah.
like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, well, exactly. So we don't know, and they aren't even in effect yet. I think they go into effect either tomorrow or end of next week, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So we don't know. Like, yes, it's possible. Um, will that prevent the damage? No, that's the problem. They
Right.
could rescind it tomorrow, but all these other countries are like, well, let's go talk to China.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
figure out a trade agreement amongst Europeans. Let's go figure out like we are no longer a
They're mad.
reliable
Yeah.
trade partner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't want to deal with us. And I think some of the brilliant strategies that this gets people to come to the table to negotiate, right? Well, that didn't work. China already put a 34% tariff back on us, which is bad because we get most of our stuff from China.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was it Europe and them? Some of them have come to the table like, yeah, we'll negotiate, whatever. They're going to make a promise. We'll invest $1 billion in America, and then they won't do it because
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens every time. They just say it, stand up in front of cameras next to Trump and talk about it. He feels like he won, even though he didn't, and then they don't make the investment. This happened before with him. He got all these promises, all these, we'll help you build the wall, all this stuff, and they never helped. They never did it because he's a chump. Like this is the part that's annoying. He just falls for this stuff, and he has this whole like strategy that's not a really good strategy at all of chaos, and it just hurts America's standing in the world. It's not helping us at all. It's about to make things really costly in America. So, anyway, sorry, that was my rant. I hate that, but it just gets me so frustrated. This lack of basic economic, thoughtfulness.
So if this hangs around, do we see another increase in price on MSRP on Magic and Pokemon?
I don't know because they just did it. I
Right.
think they would be hard pressed to do it and get paid, but we also saw a lot of corporations. I'm not going to say Watson because we don't know on their
No.
front, but a lot of corporations used, inflation from COVID as an excuse to raise prices.
And they didn't come
Uh,
down.
yeah, even though it wasn't really the inputs weren't impacted. So there's a chance that we see that across the board too. In which case, if I'm sitting in the boardroom of Watsy, I say, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because that's how you increase shareholder value, which is their number
Yep.
one concern. So I'm not saying I like it. I don't think it's a good idea, but like if everyone else is doing it, they will have that conversation of should we too?
Mm-hmm.
Should we go ahead and increase prices too since everything else is going up? So we'll see. Uh, it ain't great though. It ain't
No.
great. But maybe, like you said, it gets rescinded and we don't actually feel the pain from it. I think we'll feel the pain regardless because everyone's gonna reduce their trade
Just
with
the
us.
uncertainty, yeah.
Yeah, it's just we're not a good partner anymore. We've made that very clear. So, and then on to a correction from last week. I think I said BYD, I don't know how you say it, the electric car company from China,
Yeah.
was the largest car company. That was an incorrect statement. It was the fastest growing car company. I got the wrong
Ah.
stat, right? Because I
Still
thought about it
impressive,
after.
but
Yeah, I thought about it after. I was like, there's no way it's bigger than like Toyota. And I had said, I was like, oh yeah, American car companies are usually dominant, but then I remembered like the whole Japanese car situation that happened. And it's like, no, there was definitely Japanese dominant country. So that's what I get for talking off the cuff like I did last week. So apologies to that. The correction is that they did see a massive growth, 60% surge in the first 3 months of the year. They are now internationally sold as an electric car solution that people are loving. They're basically the super affordable version. They're kind of copying the original Ford. Was it like you can get it in every color as long as that color's black?
yeah.
It's just like really cheap, mass produced, everyman car. You know what I mean? Like everyone can afford this. But electric, and they are now massive. They're all over the globe except America. I think they're in all the first world countries now. Um, and they are the fastest growing electric car company compared to Tesla and all the rest. So they
Right.
took out that position, and it's still mind boggling to see a fast growing company like international recognition of that kind of caliber, innovation, sort of thing. That's not America.
Yeah.
That's what we used to be. We used to be the big innovators, and now it's like, yeah, we're not. We're falling behind now because we'd rather be isolationists. Sorry. It just makes me so angry. Anyways,
Yeah.
so that's where that is. Nothing really more on economics.
Well, for those who stuck around this entire time, I took a look and I sold a MetaZoo card.
Ah!
So that's a thing.
That happens.
That happens. $4 too. Someone spent $4 on 2 cards.
Yeah, I sold one or two not that long ago as well. I forgot to talk about it on the pod because it was like on a Tuesday, and by the time we got to it, I'd
Because
forgotten.
it's
But
back.
yeah,
The new box launched.
is it really? There's a new
Yeah.
box?
There's
I
a
didn't
new
even know.
there's a new game.
Well, I knew it got bought,
Yeah. First
but so
set's
they
out.
produced something. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's wild.
Yeah.
Is that on TCG Player?
No.
Okay. I was like, I'm so confused.
No. It did not
Okay.
get added to TCG Player. It's on
All
eBay
right.
though.
Okay. Interesting.
Is it?
Wild. It
It's
was
wild.
bought by like a big like who
Richard
was it? Was
Garfield.
it? It was Garfield. Yeah, I was like, I know it was someone that's related to the gaming world in
Yeah.
general, so it was Garfield. So is he involved? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew he bought it. I
The
didn't
cards
think he
look
was
much
actually
better,
going to be involved.
but
Okay.
I'm not touching that with a
So
10
I
foot
was gonna say,
pole.
so you're going all in, huh,
No.
Tommy?
No. No. It's not Magic or Pokemon. No.
Gotcha.
No. I've been in this too long. It's like that graph, that meme that's like you're a smooth brain and then you think you're really smart and it goes all the way up and then you end up in the same place.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's how I feel.
that's so funny.
It's like, oh, Magic and Pokemon are the two big ones. Let's buy those. And then, oh, no, there are all these other ones. There's all these cool other games. Oh, wait, no. It's just Magic and Pokemon.
Always was.
Always was.
I
Always
told you.
will be.
I've said that since the beginning.
Oh, I
I didn't
know.
mind
It just
exploring it, but
it
it
took
was
me a
always
little
there. Yeah,
longer to explore it, but
yeah, it's all good.
yeah. Yeah. And now we have the shelves. So,
Yep.
as long as the world is still spinning next week, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.